Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. The Grant. My name is Niels Winter, and I am the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent, non-commercial podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. It is time for another episode under my segment Consultants Corner, where I invite in private consultancy companies working with EU R&D funding schemes to share their approach, their business models and conditions in that peculiar shadow sector. Updates from EMDESK often pops up in my LinkedIn feed. The company has developed a tool for funding proposal developers and project managers that makes life a little bit easier for coordinators and partners. The combined process of proposal development and project implementation is one long exercise in coordination and planning capacities for all involved, especially for the coordinator. And when activities and deadlines starts to slide sideways, as it often does, good planning is vital for getting things back on track. I love when professionals invest blood and sweat in making this world a little bit easier to work and navigate in. I therefore invited Chief Technology Officer and company initiator Stefan Detschew into the virtual podcast studio to have a talk about what sparked the concept idea, how they built it up, and of course about the tool that EMDESK has developed. This episode gives you an idea of a tool that might make sense to investigate if you are looking for ways to better handle the complex processes of proposal development and project implementation. Please enjoy. The Grant. Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. Today, we will dig into the consultancy world again. As regulars will know, I do have a certain veneration for inviting consultancy companies on board within this world of EU funding because, well, first of all, I've been one myself. So I know the variety and the struggle and all the fantastic people and the efforts that are made in this private shadow sector, as I call it, that few people actually know about. And this is why I want to shed light on these things, because a lot of fantastic things are going on there, a lot of great people that come up with nice business models and so on to support all of you guys out there that are developing proposals and implementing projects and so on. So today we have EMDESK director on board. Stefan, welcome.
Hi, Niels. Thanks for having me today.
Sure. And I've been looking forward to this because it's an interesting thing that you've developed, but maybe you should say a few words about yourself.
Okay, thanks, Niels. So I'm Stefan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of EMDESK, and this is a software company. We develop and provide a project and finance management software for organizations to manage all their proposals and to run their projects more efficiently, like in Horizon Europe. We help them to digitize all these processes and to make proposal writing more easier and to optimize all the resources and the fund utilization.
Yeah, and I'm looking because this is a subject that anyone that has been coordinating a proposal process and anyone that has been running and implementing a project will know that you really need to have a good sense of structure and planning and diligence to be able to do these things efficiently, because lots of processes are not done efficiently. Probably I'm one of the guys that was in the middle, sort of planning well my approach to proposals, but then reality hits when you have to deal with too many proposals at the same time. No.
Yeah.
Normally, I let my guests share a few words about the organization that they come from, but because we're going to talk about your company as such and what you have developed, just gonna let that one go. Stefan, I put here in the fly in that we should have a talk about conditions for the grant software sector and challenges developing strong business models. Now, let's have a talk about your motivation for developing this. So what's the background for you starting up this company and the ideas you had to develop this?
Okay. Yeah. So I think it was back in 2006 when the seed for the idea and this was planted. So my background is IT. So I also have another founded in 2000 a software development company. But since 2006, I was involved in proposal writing and project management. And while diving into this world, I realized, wow, this is linked to a lot of administrative load and repetitive nature of many manual tasks. So I've worked together with highly qualified, smart project managers and observing and witnessing that they actually spend countless hours of endless communication and manual repetitive tasks like consolidating data and trying to streamline the flow of information, like working together in such complex projects. So crafting, for example, a new proposal is an immense task. It's an effort. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know it, and all our audience knows it. And I've witnessed, like we all know it, like coordinating the preparation of a proposal with multiple individuals, each from different organizations. Now, without the benefit of a shared IT infrastructure or established working relationship. So we are working here on a big task with different people from different organizations with a different way of working. So the primary mode of information exchange was email. So the proposal preparation process involved project planning, work plan design, budgeting, writing all the narratives, and on top of it, the smart work of people like putting in and crafting a good idea for research or for a business proposal. So from different stakeholders, from different companies, there was input and update and change requests, all via email. And no one was really aligned. No one was really on the last page. We have had different versions and stages of the proposal and of the financial data and all the metrics. And I was somewhat involved in this daunting task of managing this chaos and helping to integrate it all into a consistent and accurate proposal. Sometimes those proposals span over hundreds of pages. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you had always a probability that those proposals would be rejected. And the same time later at the project, running the project was the same thing over and over again. So we recognized all these pain points and we began crafting some tools in order to make some of those processes more cost effective. And this eventually led to a suite that we call today EMDESK.
Mm-hmm. So you were a consultancy company writing proposals back then?
Actually, yes. We were through our software company. We were somehow partnered up with a EU consultancy company in Brussels, and we got involved into the proposal writing and project management process.
Mm-hmm. And so this is, of course, a wonderful example of innovation process, right? This because within our world here, because you see an issue, you see a problem, and then you based on that, you start to dig into how this can be solved much easier. Now, when you started doing this, did you make, because this brings me back to the Intrafly on the software sector and so on, how many other, do you have any competitors? You're like dealing with some sort of the same thing, but because you do have some big guys or medium guys out there that are doing sort of EU grant support tools and so on. But how's that?
Okay, I can name it right away. I think our biggest competitor is Microsoft with Excel and Microsoft Office.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So we've also asked around our users and our potential users, and they all traditionally come from using those tools.
Yeah, but I guess we will dig into that. But doesn't that your solution, doesn't that talk and speak with the Microsoft tools?
Yeah, we do have an integration to make it easier for people to start off using EMDESK. But traditionally, over the last 2 decades, people have been educated and got used to pulling up a Microsoft Word document and starting writing the proposal there. Aside from that, they open up an Excel sheet and start maybe also a template and they have prepared into preparing all the financial data and metrics.
Uh-huh.
So I think this is what
The other element I need to bind with before we talk a little bit more about the background. This sector is not a sector where money flows very quick and big. The grants consultancy sector is a sector that is a low fee consultancy sector. And it's difficult to squeeze, or can be difficult to squeeze money out of clients because they're not secured the money they receive from the funding administration, right? So it's not per se an area that it sieves down the system. That because clients, they don't think, this is a tax consultant, he fixed my taxes. You cannot be sure to fix that they get funding, which means that you have a lot of hesitancy in certain segments that wants to go for this funding. Now, for something like this, a tool like this, is this something you can recognize when you started? Was those things you were considering or concern you had when you started developing this tool, that with the business model, you're like, how will it work in such an environment?
Yes, absolutely. I think we also had to learn our lessons there, so that we have actually 2 phases of a project. So from idea and the proposal writing process, then towards being successful and actually getting funding. As you mentioned it, we have no budget during the proposal preparation, and not much. So we learned here our lessons, and we understood that kind of we have to facilitate this process planning by providing solutions like that facilitate the proposal preparation process in a more affordable way, or even in a freemium model, so that people can access MLAS. So we actually built our business model then on having the people already on board, writing proposal with MLAS, and then later, once they are successful, then using MLAS as their major tool.
So the idea of being more flexible in the early phases of the company, say, check this out, see how you like it, sort of a beta approach, beta testing approach, see, and then when they are hooked to the nice things that the tool does, then I understand. Good, thanks. How did you realize it? Because you're a grants consulting, you're writing proposals, but doing something like developing a software, that's time, and time is money. So how did you manage that, realizing the company from from an idea and into something that you could start to put on the market?
I think you mentioned it already before. It was kind of a coincidence in ideal conditions, since I have an IT background, we have some software development resources, we had some projects with new consultancy and were involved in new project management. So actually 2 things came together. We were actively experiencing the world of EU proposal writing and project management, but at the same time, in the back of our head, we are software developers. So we are kind of all the time we are motivated to improve the process, because we know we can do it with the little tools that we have, and we can develop things. And I think it came together. So after building the small tools, we decided, okay, let others also benefit from it. Let's put some effort in it, bring it together in this suite of tools that we call EMDESK, so that everyone can benefit from it.
Okay. So what I say is that you tried to synergize with the work you already did and building it up, and then sort of starting to slowly testing it with possible clients.
Yeah, kind of. It kind of was this because it was like a slow process. We first started developing our own tools in order to improve our own world that we were in, to make things more cost efficient, more optimized, and to get rid of all the repetitive tasks, the manual tasks. So to streamline things. And as a suite of tools grow, the end eventually EMDESK was developed.
Okay.
And then officially offered.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious,
Of course.
Because I know how difficult it is. When I worked for P&O, they also tried to develop platforms and tools and so on, but P&O's business model was grants writing on a big scale, right? So they have reached a size where they will always generate money. Sometimes they shut down offices and so on if the market is not fertile enough. But in principle, they have a good business model with the core grants writing, right? But here and there they tried different things, but they didn't. It didn't work very well. Unfortunately, but this kind of thing they didn't do. This was something that was considered what's it, IP grant what a P&O IPR, core things. The internal tools we had, for nothing in the world would share with anyone. So I sort of have an understanding of how these things work in a private company when you deal with these things. Now, let's move on talking about the tool. Now, you can of course make a textbook presentation of the tool, but maybe you just take short introduction, then we start to dig into the different elements of it and what it does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to be hard presenting EMDESK on a podcast that we have today, but I like to try to put it in words. Okay, so it was, as I mentioned before, back in 2008 where everything started. And it started with EMDESK Classic. We call it today EMDESK Classic. And at the time, so we now know the origin of it. We have been working together with consultancy. We have experienced ourselves the world of it. We had also a software development company. We're small, we're agile, so we could adapt to things quite quickly. So, and this is how we are able to develop tools quickly and efficiently. So in 2008, we launched the system, and the resonance was quite good. So we gained traction, and people started using actually EMDESK right away. This, of course, was a testament, and that we're on the right track. Since then, EMDESK continuously evolved over the time. With a significant point in 2019 where we made a significant relaunch and now presenting to the market like a more modern and user-friendly tool, which is rich with several features. So basically what we did in 2008 was jumping into a market with a tool based on our experience. And this is hard because what you think is the right fit for out there might not work. So since 2008, we gained a lot of insights. We worked with the people, with our users. We did some service and so on, and channeled everything of this. And always having challenges in mind, like also like security and data protection. We developed a new system that is now there today. Yeah, and what is EMDESK today? It's a comprehensive tool that supports projects throughout their entire life cycle, right from the initial year to the financial to the final reporting. It provides collaborative proposal writing features and encompassing containing like consortium building features, budgeting features, work plan designers. It facilitates real-time progress of financial monitoring, report generation on click, all in a collaborative manner. So the idea basically is now to provide one single centralized tool for project managers to manage the project, tasks, deadlines, everyone involved. And I could go on now on this,
let's
but
just
basically
break it. Let's
go
just
ahead.
break it down into core elements, and we need to. I'm going to make sure that we do that. That we relate it to the world that people sit in when they are dealing with these kind of things, when they are either developing a proposal or doing implementation. So you have design and budget that projects together. That's one of your key elements, right? You have, and then you have the scheduling, the planning of the work, and then you have an analytical tool. These are core elements, at least the way you put them on your website. Maybe you. So if we start with the design and the budget, can you share with us what elements you have in that part?
Okay. So the audience. So first of all, we need to understand it's a software. It's a web-based software.
Yeah.
So when people come and want to plan a project or to run a project, we provide the space that you can collaborate with all the different people from the world and so on, with the dispersed teams. So you can log up, sign up, create a workspace for yourself. And this workspace then will provide you with features to map out your work plan, budget the effort and the planned costs on each work packages, map out the consortium, so all the partners, even down to individuals, and invite them all into your workspace, and then work together on work plan, the budget, the partners. And we always see when we have a proposal in mind, the proposal actually is a project plan.
Yeah.
It contains of two things. The one is the technical part, and the other is like the narrative, sometimes the scientific part or market part. And so you need to combine basically project planning data, like the work plan or financial data about your planned spendings, and the narratives, which is the work, actually, the smart work that you need to do. And we have tools for these two areas. So we have an built-in document editor, which allows you to, based on the pre-built templates, roll out to start right away and write a proposal in the system, and then enrich this proposal with project management data. For example, the participant table, the budget table, the Gantt chart, the various tables. And while you're in the background still working on streamlining, adding partners, adjusting the budget, shifting around activities and so on, it all is adjusted. So the document stays always consistent and up to date. So basically, no more juggling around, no more consolidating of documents, anything. You always have a consistent and latest version of your proposal that you have to enrich with narrative data. So this is our idea how we support proposal writing process.
Okay. First thing for the listeners. This is the first thing. Everybody who's been in the proposal preparation process will know this. The first thing that happens when you have to get this collaboration up and running, one of the elements you'll have on the agenda for the first partner meeting is which platform are we going to use to share the document. So what Stefan here has developed is such a thing. Many of you use, I think we used Google actually, but SharePoint or you have all kinds of platforms where you can do these kinds of things. So this is obviously a place like this. So this is if you go on this solution, you don't have to discuss about what platform you'll use for collaboration. That's one thing. Now, the second thing is, and that's a question to you, Stefan. When you start to develop proposal in this platform, is that can you integrate the template from the specific call that you're using? How have you done that? Is it text software or tech, or how?
Well, it's an interesting question. We actually get this a lot from our users. Of course, they come already with their own template or a topic-specific template, and then somehow want to push it into EMDESK. And this is something that it's not an easy task, like to upload your template or a Word document to a software so it recognizes everything. That's quite challenging from a technical perspective. And also is the thing that it's one of our challenges that people, when starting with EMDESK, they need to a little bit adapt to a new way of working. So they had to step a bit aside from the traditional way of they used to work. So, using their Word template, but more taking a new approach with EMDESK, like using the EMDESK templates to start off. And you just mentioned the topic-based templates. This is also a challenge here. So the EU has a lot of calls and topics, and all these templates might differ and have different requirements, and they change also over time. This is kind of a challenge for EMDESK to keep up to date of it. And so what we do here is we provide default pre-built templates that people can start off. But that's the moment, as in every other templates, they still have to adjust them to their own needs and their specific goals and topics.
And is that a template that has, say, Horizon basics with excellence, implementation, impact, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So those templates actually contain all the sections from a typical Horizon Europe proposal.
Okay.
Already pre-built, predefined. The structure is there. You can right away start off with enriching it with your own, with the information for basically with the narrative information for your proposal.
This is the important reply to the question, because everybody would understand that having a like each single call template that's probably pushing it a little bit for a worldwide software company, but the most important thing here is that you actually made the sections, the overall sections that everybody needs to reply to. Is that platform? Is it? Do you also? Is it also applicable for like Live or other funding scheme, Erasmus Plus, or how is that?
It's also again a very good question.
Thanks.
So no, definitely, because many users ask this. Many users come from the various areas all over Europe. They're applying for different programs, even national programs. And of course, they come to us and ask us, does EMDESK already have everything pre-configured for my specific program, national or European, like for example, Live? And as we strive to make this happen, we are not we don't have a force army of consultants behind us that keep up with all special requirements of every call. So we try to balance this and find a default set of pre-configuration in order to map out the work plan, the budget, and a pre-built structure of the template. But the details still need to be configured by you, as you have to do it in any other program, as in Word or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move a little bit more into this element of. So you have an interface where you probably have some buttons, something like this. Where so this is where you write your proposal. This is your text, and then you probably also have a budget button, or I don't know. Is it also work plan, work package description button, or?
I find it very interesting trying to explain the interface in words, actually, without having.
It's a good exercise.
Usually have it in front of me. I can share my screen and present everything, but putting it into words and describing everything is interesting. So we have, as I mentioned before, we are offering this for a niche, like a proposal and funded project management, EU, but also national programs. And we have to somehow find common challenges here. For example, everyone needs to write a proposal, so they need a document editing and writing capability. Everyone needs to map out the work plan and so on. So we try to provide a standardized or default setup of tools which you can customize and use to accomplish all those challenges. So at the end, eventually, everything results into consistent and accurate proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to answer your questions, yes, we have the buttons for a work plan section to actually draw a work plan. We have a button to map out your consortium. We have a button that helps you to manage all your budget, or we have a button that's called analytics that will help you to dive into your budget from different perspectives.
Yeah. So the planning and organizing, it looks like you have developed something where everybody can get an idea of timelines, costs, allocated resources, and so on. But this is more. It's more towards the end of the proposal phase, right? That part. Do you what kind? Do you have the planning tools you have? Is that also for the proposal process itself, or is it the planning in relation to the concrete project itself?
So
helping the proposal coordinator understand, is there anything there integrating with his or her calendar when working with the group?
So writing a proposal, preparing a proposal is a highly challenging task, and you need to have. There are many areas, let's say, that a project coordinator needs to deal with, and some parts, like I said, cannot be facilitated with a software.
Mm-hmm.
He's working with different teams with different cultural backgrounds, and communication is key and so on. What we help basically is provide the tools to facilitate this process, to get more control of this process. For example, to put more control of the communication flow. So we have communication instruments. Basically, already the simple fact of having everything in an online real-time collaborative environment eliminates a lot of emails and questions we have learned.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if everyone is on the same page all the time when it's regarding the latest version of the budget, or the latest version of the work plan, or latest version of the proposal, then this is a huge step forward already for the coordinator.
So we're sort of moving towards finalizing, talking about the proposal, how you can use this in the proposal page, because a lot of your tool is also about managing a project when it has been funded, right?
Yeah. So,
but I just finishing the proposal part. I think here you have a platform where you try to integrate the key things, elements in the process, especially things like budget. Something that the coordinator will take full advantage of in the end, where you are very busy, but that's when the budget comes together. That's in the end. The last question I just dotted down here. Can you as a coordinator switch in and out of who can access? Because I know, as a former proposal developer, sometimes you don't want everybody to see the budget before a certain time, and many proposal developers will not now, because you don't want there's a thing that's too much transparency in this process for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
How is that?
Actually, a very good question. Again, we often are being asked. So indeed, you want to disclose information gradually, and every coordinator has a different way of working. Every consortium has a different way of communicating. Some have been working for years. Some are completely new. This will bring a different way of working and different way of handling the information flow. And you just meant so. EMDESK has had security control in mind since the beginning, because this is a major element of everything. You're working with different people from different organizations. For example, you can, to answer the question, you can turn off that someone even sees the budget. But even more, you can turn on and off everything. And you can even say, okay, you can only read or write or manage things. So we have a very granular and precise role and access management system in MDESK that helps you control basically everything. You can even freeze the budget. You can even make versions of it and just release certain parts of it.
Okay, that's good. And that's actually goes the same with content. It's not just the budget, it's also content. So it's many parts of especially the last week. Then you need to freeze. Only the work package leaders can go in and do anything. You need to get out of. You need to leave those 60 people go away from changing anything now. So yeah, good. Thanks. And now you mentioned security. That must have been quite a work to do in the software development part, because of course you need to have a high level of security of like you cannot have any breaches like this. It's because it's high,
Yes.
it's sensitive information often. Yeah.
Yes. So this. So let me put it this way: it was this requirement was there right from the beginning, but even throughout the time, our prospects and customers approaching us made it clear and that this is mandatory requirement. So we went through several processes, making the system compliant more and more, but not just for the customers. Every organized software company nowadays faces increased security risks and is obligated to improve security from every perspective.
Okay, good. Well, I thought so.
Yeah.
No, Stephen, let's have a talk about the rest, because the thing, so you have the elements that you label. Let me just check here. So the elements that you label report, execute and report, control and analyze, and collaborate and communicate. Those are blocks that are related to the project implementation. Yeah. Okay. So can you share a little bit how you can use your software throughout the implementation phase?
Oh, I'd be happy to. So every project somehow starts with a proposal, and we talked about the proposal process. But of course, if you have used MDESK for the proposal phase, so planning out the project, all the data is already in the system. Of course, we facilitate the people that come with imports and project setups and so on, but basically everything in the system. So once you get the funding secured, you can actually start right away working on the project. So you have your work plan mapped out, you have your people on board already, you have the budget in the system, you have the deadlines, the deliverables, the milestone, everything is already in the system. So you can start actually implementing the project right away. Following the system will giving you basically an overview, a dashboard about all the entire work schedule with the deadlines. It will inform you about deadlines. It will inform the responsible people about the deadlines. We support managing all this information in reporting periods, which is very important for EU projects. Yeah. So, but what comes along with managing a project is staying on top of every partner, staying on top of the deadlines, staying on top of effort and expense consumption. So partners can regularly provide updates and record expenses along the way, either every day or within scheduled reporting periods. And the nice thing about this is basically everyone has his own area. They know where to report and what to report. The interface facilitates them that everything is done on time, in the right way, nothing gets lost. And the coordinator, on the other hand, or even work package leaders or project leaders, if in large initiatives, they always have an overview. They see the data is coming in, they see the status towards deadlines of deliverables or activities, and they see the spendings. And here, I think what sometimes is overseen during running a project is that people tend to collect progress and financial data towards the end of the reporting period.
Mm-hmm.
While this might work good with established consortia that have been working a long time, a new project, and together, it might become difficult when things go not so easy. So when you collect actually your data at the end, towards the end of the reporting period, people get stressed. It becomes a mess because everyone had to start collecting the data, sends it over to the project coordinator. And in commercial project, this would never happen because in commercial project, it you don't want to know at the end of the reporting period that everything, all the data, because
Nope.
if things go sideways, for example, delays or overspendings, it's hard to react, hard to correct it. And MDESK basically facilitates an easy way to more often report. So everyone is on the same page, not just the coordinator, but also the partners know every time, okay, this is my deadline, this is where I need to do something. And also the other project stakeholders that are not maybe not involved into your work get an idea, okay, how is the overall project going? So it helps a lot to streamline and align the entire consortium towards the objective.
Yeah, thanks. I think, dear listeners, anyone who has been implementing a project will know that you have a hell lot of things you need to remember and to keep on track, to keep track of when the project is starting. And not everybody has done this before under these circumstances. Some have done it maybe privately, or some have done it in other contexts with other rules and so on in national funding, so on. But the square root here is that when you step into a European funded project, there is on many layers things that you need to be. You have cutoffs, you have deadlines, you have things you need to deliver. You have promised the Commission a lot of stuff from your project. You need to keep track on that. You need to make sure that your finances that doesn't, as Stefan mentioned, roll sideways, overspending. It's that alone. You have tools out there. Stefan mentioned he has competitors. There many have probably used Microsoft tools. But the point here is that from a tool like this, it does, and Stefan hasn't paid me any money. Just underline this. But what I can see as a former private consultant doing this is that it does add some advantages, that you have the project already in the system when you submitted it. It remembers everything you have put in there in the planning you had to deliver to the Commission, and now it gives you it straightens your backbone when the project actually starts, because you have everything in there, and then you can continue working with it, giving you the warnings in the system when things are getting close that you need to report, that you need to get back to, that are deliverables in specific work packages that are getting closer, and so on and so forth. So all these kind of tools that good people like Stefan here develops to help you guys out there, because it is hell. It's challenging if you haven't done this before, or even if you've done it before, then you will know that anything that can make it easier for you is a godsend. So it's nothing comes for free, and we'll get back to that in the end. I will talk about Stefan's price structure for you good people out there. But it's just to say that I like that you, as a professional within the sector, you have tried to do something that makes life easier, because Microsoft is not a grants consultancy company. Yeah, you come from the sector, so you developed it with the basis and knowledge of the sector, of how these things work in all practicality when you have to do these things at your little desk, in your research organization, in your company. Good. Thanks for this. If we stick a little bit to that, because I've just browsing a little bit through your site there. So you have some of my listeners might be interested in more details about how it works with the figures, for instance. So let's just pick that up for the budgeting and reporting on the budget. So it looks like you have some tools in there that you can use for updating man-month spending, personal like cost categories and so on. Is that correct?
Yes, that's all correct. So again, we have plenty of tasks, as you just mentioned. Thank you, by the way, of summarizing everything what we do before. I can confirm I haven't paid you for that. So so basically we have tools that facilitate all the process. EU consortium has very different. It's a huge initiative. Someone, a coordinator, has to accomplish here, and we offer tools for different things. I talked about proposal writing, work plan design, and we do have tools to facilitate the budgeting and also the cost consumption process. So it actually comes all together to a project management solution that helps you have a focus on your finances. And this is a big topic that every commercial project has actually always on in their mind. So in the system we have, so you can imagine once you have all your team and your people on board and you've mapped out the work plan during the idea phase, it's pretty easy to do the budget. You actually take your activity or your work package and you say, I want to have 5,000 euro of equipment by this partner on this activity. And that's it. And you can do it, or your partner can do it. I can propose this budget. You can propose this budget for him. And then it's in the system and it all adds up. And then you can imagine now everyone does it, all your different partners. Just imagine you have 10 partners, they're all doing this, numbers come in, you confirm them or you check the budget and it's then in the system. And in the end, you just pull it out and you have your financial overview table. You have your budget over all different cost categories. And then same thing during running the project. So everyone has their budget in the different cost categories always in front of them, maybe even throughout the project periods or years, so that how much they can spend, they can always access it and can record expenses. They can record their man month based on the daily rate. They can record expenses like travel and equipment, and the system is populated with data for their own organization and for the top level for the coordinator.
Okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
Pause. One of the key elements for the partners when they are part of a project that is rolling is the what do you say, the financial system that they have back home, yeah, where they, like salary, like all the accounting systems there for keeping track on this. Are you saying that they can, because they still have to do that for their own accounts, can they some sort of synchronize that data into this, or do they have to put them in by hand like this, or how does that work?
So they can import the data. So they can ask accounting, give me an Excel sheet, and then you can import the data into the system. Easy as it is.
Because this is something that really is something that they pay a lot of attention to, right? Because this is core, both in relation to keeping tracks on what you spend, but also internally that they're in their own finance organization, the finances there, and in relation to final reporting of the costs, putting things in the right way and so on. Okay, I stopped you. You were about to say something. I stopped you.
Oh, this is not easy. So where did you stop me exactly? I think I was talking about expense recording.
Yeah, then it wasn't important, Stephen.
Oh, it was not. It probably wasn't important. You just stopped me advertising EMDESK here.
Yeah. Okay, that's an important issue that everybody they have to deal with. Then you have some analytical tools.
Yeah.
So is that related to project performance, things that you promised the commission in different categories? So how does that? What's that?
So it's a project management software that is also providing a lot of features and tools for a variety of people. So specifically also in Horizon Europe. Well, in Horizon Europe, we have specific requirements. Everyone is like very important milestones is like completing a proposal, submitting it, and then everyone kind of relaxes. And then again, the reporting deadline comes where everyone gets stressed again and so on. While this is majorly important, we are still managing your project and we need to make sure it is successful. This means all the tasks that we have every day, following up on every person and partner that they actually focus on what they're doing, meeting deadlines, preparing deliverables on time, and so on. So there are many tasks that we facilitate. And one task of it is, of course, understanding your project's budget and your consumption. So again, when you do it at the end of the reporting period, it's the least what you can do. Hopefully all the spendings by the partners are accurate and are fine. If they're fine, you're already laughing. You see that's if you're experienced with this, you know, it's already challenging when you work on a project within a company, but in your projects, you actually are involved with several organizations with different way of working. It's an immense, more difficult task. So, this actually facilitates with this analytics function actually to pull out data from the different perspectives. And the most popular perspective, of course, for Horizon Europe project is I want to know, okay, how much did we spend by partner, by the cost category, and for this reporting period? Because these are the numbers where at the end we need to report to the EU's portal. So on one click, EMDESK generates your report that sums up and puts all the data, pulls the data from all the partners together, and visualizes it into a nicely made table.
Okay, so
for you.
Okay, those kind of graphics of presenting figures and data and so on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I constantly think about what kind of challenges and pains that the software is triggering, right? Because that's what our listeners are focused on. So what does it solve for me? Does it make things easier for me? So definitely the reporting is something that any coordinator will remember if they've done it once, to collect things from because that's the real world when you sit as a coordinator, run a project, this collecting data from the other partners. that's a key pain around reporting, because writing the report itself, it's not, it's status, it's running through. So where are we with this and this and this? You have all the things you promised, then you run through these things to the commission on where you are with that. But it's collecting the damn data and collecting the damn information, so getting the information squeezed out. So here at least you cannot, it's not a magic software, it doesn't make people do things, but at least there's the common platform where you can get it in and you can make it more nice, so to say, when it comes out. Mm-hmm. And it might in all naivety, it might help people be working a little bit more the parts. I don't know. Do you get feedback from clients, that's been using this? How do the coordinators have any feedback on how it works for reporting and how's that?
Okay, so the reporting process. So first of all, I think it's just such a challenging task because people tend to do the reporting shortly before the deadline, like it is 2 months. Yeah. And this is the first problem. So of course we should have updates more often, like interim reports more often. So we have once in a while, not a real time, but periodically, like a picture, a snapshot of how is our project going. So in order we are able to react. But overall, EMDESK digitizes this process. So let's think back what I've did 15 years ago at the EU project. And I was basically collecting data from people by email, sending them an Excel sheet or something. Mm-hmm. They were filling it out, sending it back.
Yeah.
Wrong.
That's
something
very normal.
Was missing.
So and quite common way of doing it.
Yeah, and you will be surprised that many people are still doing this way. And some have created an wonderful and efficient style of doing it because they're very good at communicating or providing guidelines. But at the end of the day, we still have people here and they're maybe new to this or it's redundant to the other tasks. And they're filling out the proposal template or the report template with their narratives or the financial template with the narratives. And then they come back, send it to you by email. And then, whoops, I forgot something. So I sent you another template, another version. And the next weeks, I have corrections from the accounting and send you another version. And now we have 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 partners doing this. So you have in your inbox several versions, maybe 30, 50. You start to consolidate. At the same time, people come and say, sending you emails. Is it correct what I sent you? How much budget did I send you? How much budget is left? And so on. They have questions. So a lot of communication. We have a client with lots of partners, and they actually by switching to EMDESK, they eliminated 3,000 emails per report.
Excellent.
But can you imagine this? This is we were very happy to hear this. But at the end of the day, it's easy, as simple as it is. People have one interface, one area where they make updates and changes.
Yeah.
So only there until it's final. And it's just one big benefit people will really enjoy. And the coordinator, on the other hand, has an aggregated view of everything and has an organized way of all the data that they can pull out for internal reports, for financial reports, or to integrate it into their report that they're currently writing. Just one example we experienced together with a customer.
And I guess another pain for a coordinator is the deliverables and getting partners to hand in the deliverables that has been promised. But that's, again, it's not a magic software, it's not, it doesn't make people do things like this. It doesn't knock them in the head or something like this. But is there any good example? Is there any around these things that it helps with?
So preparing a deliverable is, the nature of a deliverable can be various. Can be from prototype to a document, anything. And there is no established standard here. So it's going to be hard for software to help you actually producing the deliverable.
Yeah.
So what EMDESK helps with is basically, a deliverable is also a common thing that is also a non-EU funded projects. So actually your activities have to result into a deliverable. It's a result. So it's a point in time where you actually have to hand in a result. And what EMDESK does, basically, it helps you by visualizing and keeping up to date with your activities that all end up into a dependency, like in a deliverable, which has a deadline. And it basically helps you to manage all the activities, streamline them towards this deadline.
Does it send sort of a notification to the partners involved in the specific work package? 3 months or 2 months you need to, a month you need to.
Actually, this is the least thing that the system can do. And yes, it does it. But we are keeping it actually simple with notifications because we all know we have full inboxes. So we invented kind of a system that consolidates all the information into one email that you can configure to get per day or every week or every hour.
Because if there's too many notifications, then people get notification blind.
Exactly.
And they don't react to the notification.
Exactly. They shut it off, or they do simply not react because it is overflowing information. And this is what EMDESK also tries with all the precise permission control. It helps you basically to streamline information. So to blend out information or fade out information that people shouldn't be interested in or shouldn't distract them from the work. So we also help to channel information. It's relevant to them.
Just a question popped on in my mind. That's the nature of being on the grant. Did you have any behavioral change psychologist, something like this, helping you developing the software on these kind of things?
Yeah. So of course we work closely together with UX designers. So which is it's actually a big challenge, because over the last year we have seen that the expectations for responsive and user-friendly interface that I instantly can understand and react to the way I'm working has tremendously changed. So people have a much higher expectation towards this. This is basically because we are using tools more and more in our personal and professional life. We are used to very responsive applications on our phone that instantly react to everything. Still problems, but much better. Interface have become much better. And actually, the effort also for all, not just us, for many software companies, has we are putting a much more effort on implementing a more user-friendly interface, an interface that has been more streamlined to the way how people actually navigate and work with software. But still, it's still lots of room for improvement.
Yeah, just curious. because it's very important when you have such tools that person using it.
Definitely.
Human psychology. I think, because now we need to slowly move into, we still have some elements we need to touch upon. But I think, do you feel comfortable with the things that you shared with me and the listeners here?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Are there any elements of what it does or so on that you feel that you haven't covered? The communication part, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. So to touch the communication part, so of course we do just not provide plain financial and project management features that just die in the system. Communication is still key. Before it was email, but email is not in the context. It's just you have to write everything together. You have to figure out who is the contact person, who I'm sending it to, and so on. You have to draft a nice email and to refer to things. And we realized, okay, since everything is in a system, we can help people communicate. For example, every element in the system, you can have a discussion. And this takes care of distributing and broadcasting this discussion towards everyone who is involved. For example, you can start a discussion right away on a deliverable. Everyone with access and this can talk about this. Or when you report an expense, the coordinator can ask you a question right away about this expense. So what is this expense about? Or can you attach, for example, a justification or improve the description? So actually it's contextualized, and this helps a lot to streamline the communication, because MNIST takes care of distributing the message and brings it into the context. We even have we saw that consortia are big, so we implemented a group management functionality with a mailing list feature that helps basically to consolidate, to group and pool people with the same responsibilities in order to make it easier to communicate with entire groups, not just people. And in 2021, we also integrated a video calling functionality. So when the discussion goes forward, you can have a call. Okay. Yeah. That's about the aspects of communication.
Well done. Now we're going into what my thought was when I developed the rundown is that all companies that develop all kinds of supporting tools of all sorts, software, be whatever, innovation is not a straight line, right? It's a circular. Yeah, you go and then you realize here we need to adjust and so on. So did you, as you moved along, did you remove things, or did you see that some elements didn't work very well? Did you improve things? As now you just mentioned the communication, you improved your interface experience by adding that sort of. Are there things that you had to remove, for instance, because you saw that doesn't work very well?
Oh, this is a tough question. Let me think. We removed things, but on the top of my head, I cannot recall them. But definitely there's things. You are a software company and we're an agile team. We constantly actually react and adjust the system.
Yeah.
But it's right. There have been things that didn't work out well, so we removed them, or basically were too hard to maintain. This is also something.
Yeah.
So people had we provided a feature, and people approached from different perspectives, and it's actually a challenging thing. People use features and try to squeeze it into their way of working. So they expect to work it from different. Some ask you, couldn't we customize this? Then the others ask the exact opposite. So it's a day-to-day, it's a challenging task. And some features we see that we cannot find common challenges. So it actually provide a standard set of that helps to solve one challenge. So the maintenance becomes too hard, or it's just raising more questions. So we abandon.
What do you do? How do you maintain? Do you, for instance, guess you have a database with your clients and or the users of the platform? Do you is that can you access the EMDESK tool if you changed position? For instance, you move now to another company. Can you? How is that with the you're German, Stefan? Datenschutz, all this stuff. How is that?
Definitely.
I guess you have all your things in place, but I'm just curious how you maintain it.
So overall, this is a business application. So in the first place, the account usually is linked to the business email address or the organization's email address. It's not a private account. Of course, you can set up an EMDESK workspace with your private account that's starting playing around. But at the end of the day, you're still on your account is under your control. But when it is linked to your business email address, basically, and when you leave a company, your business address is being deleted or something, you should definitely before that either move it to your personal email address or set up a new account.
Okay. No, just curious. When was there a breakage point for your solution where you took off? You understand the question that all startups have you sort of struggle, you work 12 hours per day, you to get clients in and build up the solution and so on. But were there breakage point where the walls fell, so to say, and you had a lot of clients coming in? How?
I'd say we are so neither of both. So we never. I think we are still in a very specific niche here, and with also challenges here. As you mentioned in the beginning, the money is not loose in the pocket, and especially during proposal preparation. And somehow people are also it's not easy for them to find budget in order to support the proposal preparation process. So this is one challenging thing. At the same time, it's also nice to have all the data in the system during the proposal preparation process. And we help people to be more successful with EMDESK when writing proposals. So we actually help them also, and this could become a future client. So we had to cover basically the cost for proposal writing by the fees that we asked people to pay during project implementation. So I think it's overall it's a steady thing, steady business model. But at the end of the day, we are still working in a niche. So and historically, we have started with EU-funded projects, but in the recent years, in order to the software does not pay out just for the EU market. It's so we have opened up to other other multi-partner or funded projects and so on in recent years. And this is to actually broaden our audience and also to help others with similar challenges.
Still in Europe, or did you also America? Or
so it's why it's hard to market in America and in other areas of the globe. We do have clients from there that have find EMDESK to be a suitable solution for their problems.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. Do you have any practical examples where the tool has helped? Do you have any clients where say, okay, this is where they could, where the tool made a significant difference for them? And an experienced proposal developer, experienced project implementer coordinator that has gotten back to say, look, this helped me a lot. Do you have any?
So I feel like we are helping them all day long with very specific challenges. It's a niche, but still a diverse group of people with different ways of approaching things. So in general, we have supported thousands of projects over the years. They are happy. They report back. They are very happy. Nearly 90% are satisfied. They report back an average efficiency degrees of 30%. But I think what we are particularly proud of is that at least all we have projects or organizations that use MDESK from all top EU fundings, all top players in EU fundings. But one particular achievement we made was probably when we assisted the Human Brain Project. So the EU's first biggest EU flagship back in 2013, we helped them with submitting the proposal. So we streamlined the task of collecting emerging data from more than 100 partners for a budget of over $1 billion and with over 10 years. And we actually helped them to make this process happen on time. So on time to submit a proposal that was accurate and consistent. So and since then, actually, the Human Brain Project has been using MDESK since then, also for running and project and for preparing all the reports. Now this year, it's coming to an end. But yeah, and followed just in 2016, also Graphene followed. And now recently also another large initiative, which is the Park Project, has started to manage all their processes, especially the financial process with MDESK. So we are particularly proud of especially these projects, but also we are very proud of helping other like regular projects, and we have a very strong and close relationship with our people already from starting and launching the project, but also during within technical support. So we are a small team, and actually everyone here is somehow involved all the time with our clients, either directly in calls or via email or replying to technical support emails. So
how many people are you?
So we are part of a bigger company, but particularly for the MDESK company itself, we are about 10 people.
The company that you're part of?
It's a software development company on that basically has been there since 2000. I'm also a co-founder of this, and basically they are developing all kinds of solutions in different areas.
Okay.
And MDESK is basically one larger company itself within.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it then bought? Did you sell it to them or something like that? Did they what?
No, actually, I'm also a co-founder of this company.
Okay,
so
understand.
It's this. Yeah.
All right. As many curious questions. We need to talk. Now we talked about this. We will talk about the academy in a second. But before we do that, price structure, Stefan, because now a lot of listeners have been listening. Oh, that sounds interesting. But if there's nothing in this world is free of charge except the air we breathe and. So how did you make your business? So what's the price structure of how have you made that?
Okay, so we make it very transparent. You can go on our website, click on pricing, and there it is. So we have EU, particularly for EU project, we have a specific pricing. We call it the project plan. And here, basically, you pay by the number of active users that will be in your workspace. So usually it's about 2 to 3 people from the partners that will be joining the workspace. And then you just take the calculator on our website, and it will calculate the amount for the runtime of your project based on the number of users. So yeah, for example, I think it's about 6 or 6 to 7 euros per user or something per month. So when your project runs,
monthly fee.
Well, monthly fee per user, active user in your
okay.
space, right?
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's also the best way when you have a software to
Yep.
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. So we also have guest users. So on free guest users, basically to make it also easier for viewers and for people just
Free guest users.
Yeah,
How
guest
does
users
that
are
work?
free. They're just viewers, so you can get everyone on board
They can
that
see
with
what
just
happens in
viewing.
there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Just to obtain the latest and get the latest idea of the project's progress.
Which obviously is an important feature for a consortium where you have sometimes 60 or 70 people involved, not only the person that is dealing with it, but you also have a lot of other people from each partner. So of course you don't need to give them access to mess up mess up the platform. The more people you get access, the bigger the chance for messing things up. So yeah, good. And then you have so you have also a more expensive. How's that? So you have the team, and then project, and free. So what's the difference between team and free?
So the free is actually the essential features of EMDESK free of charge is being used by people to actually write their proposals. It equips everyone with everything to actually write a proposal. If you want to take it to the next step, you have to think about getting let's say a monthly project plan or something just for getting access to the collaboration features and some advanced features. And we've been talking before about introducing new business models in order to make EMDESK more sustainable. And this is why we also introduced the team plan. It's actually a new target group. It helps organizations basically. With the team plan, you basically get access to unlimited projects. You can write your proposals, you can draft new proposals, you can implement as many projects as you want running under this theme. And on top of it, you basically get an overview, a dashboard over all your projects. We basically have a new functionality. Since we already realized there is, next to just an isolated new project, there are many organizations with many projects, and they're struggling with the getting an overview about this project. So how many projects do we have running? What's their status, proposal or project management phase? Is it running well? How much budget do we have from there? How much expenses? So they're getting a complete bird's eye view about all their project and finances, and they can answer questions like, for example, which project is running well, which not. How much budget for personnel do we have in next year? How much person months have we scheduled to be consumed in the next 2 or 3 years? So is another.
What's your client profile? Do you have consultants, other grants consultancy companies tapping in, or universities? Or how is the sort of what's the segment? So
the segment is basically RTD organization. So everyone involved into RTD and funded project management. So this can be, of course, these are most of the times these are research organizations or universities.
Yeah.
But also EU consultancies, but also research departments of a lot of enterprises.
Yeah.
These are typically our clients.
All right. Now we have to it doesn't get too long, but we are almost at the end here. Thanks. You have an academy.
Yes, that's true.
What's that?
What's that about? Okay, so basically over the years we realized software is good. People like it. It helps a lot of things and makes things more efficient. But we realized also there is a big other part which why people are, for example, not successful with the proposal and with the project. So if people are successful with their proposal, then it's good for them, but it's also good for us because we make them more successful. And what is it? What the other part of being successful is we need to equip people with the knowledge in EU expertise and in project management to be more successful. So also with the new version of EMDESK, we also came up with the idea to develop knowledge base that would help our users to improve their skills overall, project management, EU expertise, so they have become overall more successful. And this is what's the Academy today. The Academy is a network of experienced managers, consultancies that share their expertise through expert articles, checklists, online webinars. And this Academy is basically free of charge. It's on our website. Everyone can register for the Academy. They just need to drop in their email, and then they can access various of articles about EU proposal writing, managing projects, project management in general. And
the first
we
thing
actually have
I can see is that there's a synergy with people and organizations that have been on the ground before. So I can see Christina from Europa Media. There's a webinar coming up. Articles, stuff like this.
There's a webinar coming up in November.
Are you collaborating with Europa Media? You formalize?
Yes, we are collaborating with Europa Media. Europa Media is a very, very skilled consultancy. They know every fact of EU project management. So I can highly recommend this organization if you're somehow looking for expertise or project.
Yeah, I cannot stress that enough as a communication person myself that I've become. If you want extremely good channel for in-depth information about all kinds of elements of proposal preparation and project implementation, you connect yourself to Europa Media's LinkedIn profile and you get their newsletter where you get access to, they have lots of free services. Of course, they offer also paid services, but this part of their communication strategy is to share a lot of information about how to do this. So they are they are a mirror of what I try to do, but they just much bigger. I'm just the audible little guy that tries to, at least to do some sort of. It's extremely professional, and they have been on my show several times, and I like them a lot. So I highly recommend them.
Yeah, we're on the same page here.
Yeah. Small little things, questions that comes up as we moved along. How do you deal with if we go back to the proposal preparation phase when partners have to agree on what platform to use? Because this is something I experienced many times. Then you have big multinationals that are not allowed to use a specific platform because of security, software security, like data security. What do you do because my best guess is that this is a question that comes on a regular basis in partnerships that your software are being used. How do you handle those things?
You mean purchase requirements?
No. You know, if when you go into when you sit in a consortium and you have to agree on should we use which shared platform for the documents for the proposal development. So what, and then you have lots of organizations that we're not allowed to use Google Drive, for instance, because that's so. Do you have some sort of higher security statement or label that means that these organizations, they can safely, to their managers say we can use this platform, or how does that work?
Yeah, this is an important part always, and this is always a question being asked before starting citing about EMDESK. So we actually summarized all about this. We've done our homework and summarized everything about security and how we handle everything on our website. There's an own section about, call it the Security Center. Everyone can look it up and inform themselves how we meet up with these requirements. So it's all put together there. And
okay.
Yeah.
It's just I forgot it earlier, and I know that many people will be like, this is one of the things when you have a platform at my. No, that's it. You know what? Now we need to go to the last segment that I have in my most of my podcast, the toughest challenge. That's just for you as a professional developing this tool. So what has been the toughest part from the start and first got the idea to develop this until now? Was there
Mm.
periods where you thought, this is too rough, I'm just gonna go back to writing proposals? Or what has been the toughest thing?
Yeah. So I think overall software development is a tough thing. It's not just that it's a complex task to develop software. It's an ever-changing task. So constantly your environment is changing, and it's even accelerating nowadays. The competition is very, very hard and strong. So I think I already mentioned this before. Like the user expectations are increasing. So when it comes towards software design and usability, and also the adapting to the different ways of working. So we are in this niche, but everyone works different, and it's hard for software developers and designers and UX designers to find the common ground to fulfill everyone's needs. And I think we try also at the same time, also with the academy, also to educate users to adopt new management and communication approaches. By leveraging new modern tools, and it's a hard challenge to basically compete with the usage or to the people being accustomed to traditional tools like Excel and MS applications. They're pre-installed on everyone's computers. Everyone starts off using them, not even those tools are being provided by the organization. They're on their computers everywhere. They have access already. But while people use this, many overlook the challenges these tools bring. They're not tailored to specific workflows. When the project kicks off and continues, data accumulate, things get messy with them. And at the beginning looked like an easy task, it becomes challenging. So I think educating those people that distinct and dedicated software that practically tailored to their needs will be a big benefit to them. It's a challenging task, especially in a world where the budget is kind of limited, as either in the proposal phase or during the project management. And people then, once they use those tools, it becomes messy again. People then tend again to do the things that I did 15 years ago. So it's still the thing, and we need to make some progress here. Things are becoming more competitive. Funding it's very hard to acquire funding. Everything becomes more competitive. But we can see now that many people realize that there's a need to digitize the process and to make things more efficient, more cost efficient. So the faster and cost efficient you write a proposal, the more proposals you can write. It's easy it is.
Yeah, but that's actually that I would have thought it like that. Software is an ever changing, and people expect things to. Yeah. Thanks, Stefan. Well done. We are at the end. I'm just gonna land the plane before we say goodbye to the listeners. So, dear listeners, thank you so much for listening to the end with this nice conversation with Stefan about what he had developed here over the last years. Check out my website, new listeners, regulars. I hope you do it all the time. My website, thegrant.eu. There you'll find my whole back catalog. I have probably at this stage around 80 released episodes, so you can go in there and check it out. I keep trying to make it more efficient in there and easier to access the information. I have, for instance, categorized it into different funding schemes now also, so you can, making it more user-friendly for you guys out there that are sitting and writing proposals. While you are there, I have an action for you. Subscribe to my email list, because if you have any sympathy with what I am doing, that's what helps me as a podcaster. So subscribe to the email, and you'll receive an email every time I release an episode. And when you've done that, then you can go to my jobs and leads portal that I have made for all the people out there in the sector that on a regular basis needs freelancers or offer their support to writing proposals. I've made, so this is sort of a portal that lands in between the two chairs of normal job portals. and people not knowing where to put things because it's not regular. It's so it's there. You can go and find if you need people ad hoc or freelancers, and you can also put if you need help with writing something where you get squeezed. Check it out. And then if you want to make sure not to miss me, you find me on LinkedIn. That's where the magic happens. I would say that's where the action is day to day. That's where I like stuff. That's where I share stuff that's related to the EU funding community. Can't like everything. It's like this. I'm not a machine, but I try as good as I can to share all the good, nice posts that comes from the whole community out there. I always forget something, Stefan, but I think that's it. Stefan, thank you so much for dropping by the virtual podcast studio. It's been excellent.
Thank you for having me. It was very, very interesting.
Now, let's say goodbye to the listeners. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Bye, everyone.